Good morning, everyone. Today is February 20th, 2021, and it is a Saturday, which means we are going to be taking a look at, you guessed it, the crypto markets. So let me just get that stuff out of here. And we are going to be popping through quite a few different things. So let's start on the weekly on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's weekly still has a 1 day and 9 hours left until the close. It is looking excessively bullish. I will not change my stance on the weekly for pretty much the only way that I would even consider flipping my position from a bullish to a bearish posture is if we close below this 618 Fibonacci line. If we close below that, then maybe I would maybe consider changing my position slightly and say that we're in for a correction. But until then, I am maintaining my bullish posture. On the daily is starting to look like a indecision doji candle, but it's at a high. And the RSI has broke out to the upside. We are no longer diverging. And we are outside of this channel. Now we have closed 1, 2, and this will be the third consecutive candle close outside of this channel. Are we going to have a back test? Possible. It's possible we could have a back test too, and you'll guess it right here, the red line that I just moved to the top of this 2 and 3 candle. That's probably where I would consider the back test to be if it occurs, which is at 52K. So my daily chart is looking still very bullish. The MACD, however, is starting to look like it's trending down and may cross over. I will be paying attention to that, but as long as prices are rising, I will continue to maintain my bullish stance. The 4 hour. The 4 hour is topping on a 9. What would you know? Now, this chart is getting a little cluttered, so I am going to start removing some stuff. And this is looking like a shooting star of a 9. I'm going to remove that because we don't need that yet, because we don't know where the retracement is coming. Now, we have a little bit of divergence here. However, if you do notice, we are still in this red box, which is what I've always been saying is a little bit of a cause for concern when you get into this area on the RSI. If you can break above 87, that's the key. Right here, 87 is usually a watershed mark on Bitcoin on the 4 hour for me. If you can break above 87 on the RSI, it usually triggers a swing into the 90s, which means prices rise. Now the MACD is looking interesting. The MACD did cross over, went flat, and then broke back to the upside on this final leg push to the upside. On this candle right here. Can't even speak. We have bounced off the 50 period moving average, or this is 7, sorry, the 7 period moving average. We have bounced off the 7, and we are holding that steadily. Now you have all your moving averages going above one another, all trending upwards. You have broken out of what I would consider another channel. Let me see if I can position this properly so that way you can see it. Now, I think that is the best fit. However, without breaking the bodies, this is the way I'm going to do it. So, using this as the top, this is the bottom. We had trouble getting near the top. We got to the top, rejection. We broke. We came back. We kind of wicked back into it, and now we're breaking to the upside again. Now, to move my lines, because my lines are going to be moving, I actually maintain my bullish posture as soon as we break this 6 right here. And I'm going to remove that. This yellow line is going to be sitting right at the open of the 8. And this green line is actually if we break this now. I used to keep it right here on the bottom of this channel. However, I think that the midpoint of this channel is now a more telling position to take because we are closing out of it on the 4-hour. I am liking this move. This move is an acceleration. It doesn't mean that we are going to have a new slope occur. We could just have another channel at a higher starting price range. So I will be paying close attention to that. Now, the 1 hour. The 1 hour is pulling back. As you saw on the 4 hour, we are on a 9. I am going to be taking this off the table, and now I'm going to be adjusting my candles. I become bullish at the break of these bodies. This no longer needs to be here. If you remember yesterday, what I told you was as long as this candle right here did not close below the midpoint of this previous 5 candle, I was expecting more upside. And what happened was is we went from the close of this candle at 55.057 all the way to 56.6. That's not a huge move. It is a 2% gain, but if you're scalping, that's a decent deal. The other thing to note is we never closed below this green line. We wicked to it, and we used it as support. And then we moved all the way to 57.5. So what you can see here is a very nice, perfect play. You had a bullish entry. You could have gotten scared out of your bullish trade. And even if all you did was keep your stop loss, and where would your stop loss be? Your stop loss would be right here at the wick of this red candle. Obviously, when you're in profit, I would move my stop loss to break even. Seeing this candle right here, I would have probably kept this position, honestly, because of this hammer and because of a 9. I potentially would have gotten out on the 9, but the way the RSI was, how it was just flat, that tells me not to really do that. And the MACD was still moving to the upside on this 9. So my indicators were conflicting with the TD sequential. However, if I had taken this trade, I would not have exited this 9. I would have seen the 1, and I wouldn't have traded that. I may have doubled down, however, on the close of this candle with the 2 going above the 1. Now, that would put me in a position where my trade would be somewhere evened out between these 2 spots right here, and I would have been sweating it. So that wouldn't have been the good trade to take, in all honesty. However, the fact that we never closed below this green line is telling me that it is looking like trend support. So I'm going to keep extending this green line because I find it important. In fact, this green line is going to be replaced by this yellow. And this green line here is going to maintain its position. There's no reason for me to move this down yet. I still haven't confirmed this is a strong enough support bounce, and we still look like we're trending down a little bit. So I'm going to hold off on doing that. Also remove this. All right. Now let's start looking at some altcoins. So the first thing we're going to look at is basic attention token. Now, BAT was in this channel. BAT looks like it is breaking down on the 4-hour. That is not good news for BAT. BAT may retrace all the way down. Hopefully, this 200 period moving average can catch the price. It has shown some ability in the long distant past to catch the price for a little while. So hopefully on this breakdown, it's looked a little bit like it could support the price. We'll see if we catch the price there. However, I am still concerned from the breakdown of this that our target is below the 200 period moving average. We are also on a new low RSI since this run. And that is something to pay attention to. I will not lose... I won't lose my mind. However, this 883 is catching the price, which is really good to see. Hopefully we can get back up here above the 786 and close the price back inside this channel. And this was just a wick down underneath and not a close. All right. That's enough for BAT. Library. Library I've been watching on the daily. It looks like it's pulled back nicely. I am tempted to re-enter my old position on Library, which I sold up here. I am very tempted to go back into this because it looks like I am going to have a second day of close above this symmetric triangle. And the move for this symmetric triangle that I have drawn is from 166 all the way to 458. That is a 300% move. So a 300% move over here would put you at basically 1K Satoshi. And that would bring you, I believe it's not 950, is it that one? Yeah, that would put you, let's just put a horizontal line right here. Put you somewhere in the vicinity of that by percentage gain. But if you were just going off of the raw numbers, you still have quite a bit of distance to go, and you are going to be breaking this previous swing. Now, you've already broke this previous swing with a close. However, I am hoping that we can maintain this bullish stance. The RSI is still trailing upwards. These are all indicators that I am paying attention to. If I go down into the 4-hour, you can see that we are riding along the top of this triangle. Now, my position has been up here. It'll probably be moving down to here for an entry, and then it'll probably be moving down to here for an entry as soon as I figure out what is going on. The moving averages did cross over. If you go to the, it must have been the 4-hour. Yeah, the 4-hour, the moving averages were going to cross, however, because of, I see what happened. Because of the steep rise in price, the 50 period decided to shoot first. But they were all trailing into the same spot, which looked like a golden cross. Now, that's enough for Library. Cardano. I am actually super bullish on Cardano right now. And the reason for that is we broke a descending triangle. Now, the descending triangle target right here for me is 2280. And if you don't know this, the break of this ascending trend line right here will signify a new dollar all-time high in Cardano. Now, the minute you start trading above the previous all-time high in any metric, it's going to attract investors. And so the move for Cardano, if it closes above the previous all-time high, is going to be it's going to be insane, because you're going to see a frenzied move. And this is what happened with Ethereum, where it made a 30% gain in a matter of a couple of days. Or 2 weeks, basically. In 2 weeks, Ethereum jumped 30% in price. Now, Cardano's been a little more aggressive with that. This breakout is really strong. I am liking the fact that we have got above, we are back above this trend line right here, which was support and is now acting as resistance. As long as we can close above this trend line with the RSI coming back above here, there is a hope for me to see us break back above this not channel, but fanning trend line that's coming off of this and maintain our stance. So this could be the back test, or this could be the breakout. I think tomorrow is going to be the decision candle on that. However, I'm liking the volume, I'm liking the structure, I'm liking the breakout. Everything about this Cardano move is telling me that we have more upside to go. Even with this trend line acting as resistance, I think we can break back above it. All right. Ethereum. Speaking of Ethereum. So Ethereum for me has been riding on this 50% area for a few days. First it was riding on the 382 and then it broke down. Now it's riding on this 50%, and I'm expecting a rejection. We actually have a rejection here by the 50 period moving average on this candle on the daily. I am expecting a move down to the 618. The 618 will probably conclude the move to the downside on this Ethereum pullback. I think that the 618 is a really good spot to buy. Now, looking at other indicators, the volume is still trending, but it's slowly starting to slope down, which isn't the best thing to see. However, the RSI may look like it's starting to diverge just the tiniest bit, so we'll be paying attention to that. Now, where do I think Ethereum can go after this? So, my thoughts on the retracement are to the 618. And my move to the upside is 0.07, basically, from 0.035. So I could see a doubling in the BTC price of Ethereum. Especially with the launch of Ethereum 2.0, I do see some type of FOMO happening, as well as if people remember back in 2017, if you've been in this market a long time, when Bitcoin originally had its SegWit fork, and then that spawned Bitcoin Cash, there was so much panic in the market that we had a 45% crash in price. So what I'm guessing here is that we could see, at most, a dip down here to the 883. That would be the most aggressive dip I would expect. But then that only changes my target by 0.006 BTC. Not by much. So whichever spot we pull back to, as long as we maintain the market structure, I'm expecting moves that are higher and much more aggressive, and I'm expecting close to a doubling or even a tripling in price off of whatever the low is. All right, let's go over to Litecoin BTC. All right, so it was the Binance coin. And we will be taking a look at Binance token as well. I guess that whatever that pancake thing is, I didn't do any research on it, but it's something all right. So these continue to move down. Now, that's only if we break. If we do not break out of this descending wedge, things get bad. Wonder if it got screwed up when I was moving stuff in. Let me just make my adjustments to readjust to the new settings. God, we're not even close to the apex of this new. And it'd be a 300% move. These are monthly. This is the monthly chart. The weekly looks a little bit better. It's like trying to be as precise as possible with this. I am not liking the structure of Litecoin right now. I think it is looking very, very bad. And I think it's apparent that the only thing that's even slightly good news, and it's definitely bad news when I look at it from this angle, is that you broke down on the descending, you've retested, you made a higher low on the RSI, and this is the monthly, or the 31-day. So now, if you can break 40, 39.5, let's get rid of this. That's no longer useful. Let's put a horizontal in. If you can close the RSI above that line on the monthly, come back and back test and make sure this is support, there's a chance for Litecoin to move from this 3697. There's a chance for a 300% move towards the top of this god-awful looking mess. Wow. Yeah, Litecoin's chart is looking absolutely terrible. I mean, those are just consecutive lower, lower, lower closes relative to Bitcoin. And it is diverging like crazy on the RSI, which is the scarier part. On the weekly, the divergence is very pronounced. You can tell. You're flat, slowly trending down. And your RSI is just cranking, cranking, cranking to the upside in a channel. I'm guessing Litecoin could pop here anytime to the upside, but a long term, I don't see this asset being very useful. I think there is a trade here. I think there definitely is a trade here. And I would say it's a swing trade. But trying to figure out where it is going to be a little bit difficult. And especially because of this giant wicking one that frickin' took out a lot of leverage longs and shorts. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can get a 2 here. Okay. All right, so here's the play. Here's my play for Litecoin. If Litecoin can close above this green candle high on this red right here, on this red one, if it can close above there, that'll flip it to a green 2. Then, if you have a green 2 trading above a green 1, or a green 3 trading above a green 2, if we can then get a trade above here, I'm going to say this is an entry. And then we have to have a break for the double down to occur. So this is like really, really speculative, but this red candle has to reverse on the weekly. So you have a day and a half, you have a day and change to reverse, go back and close above the price of 0.004395. Then you have to have a candle trade above here, which will be a green 3 going above a green 2, and closing and moving above the 30-period moving average. That's your entry right there, if that occurs. Then your double down, or my double down, would be right here at the break of where this top of this one candle's at. If you break above here and you start trading above it, then my double down is right there. But that's a lot of ifs. That is a lot of ifs. I would much prefer to see back down here. I see a 1, I see a 2 going above a 1, and then I see momentum. But like the monthly is even worse. Like if you were going to trade this monthly chart, I wouldn't even bother with this month. Honestly, I don't think there's 11 days left in this month. This month would have to close somewhere near the top here. This month would have to be somewhere above here on a close. I'll be even more generous. If your month can close above the midpoint of the entire body of this candle. So from here, if the month can close above this 50% mark, so 3829, so let's say 19%. So we're going to take it all the way down to 19. And we're going to do 20 for good measure. If your candle can close above here, then my entry would be a 2 going above a 1, going above this candle on the monthly. And then I wouldn't double down on this. My stop loss would be set. My stop loss would be set right in the middle of this candle. Because I would not be very confident in this trade. This is not, and I would do it with very, very small position size. I mean, barely nothing. I would barely even want to touch this on the monthly because that would be such a long-term trade for an asset that has just been tanking. Now, one thing to note is I'm not 100% sure. And let me take a look at something real quick. Let me go to let me look at the coin market cap of Litecoin and see what is the highest traded chart. Because the one with the most volume and the most liquidity is going to be making the most sense. So USDT, 4.74% on Binance. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think USDT is where people are trading this the most. So if we move over and look at the USDT chart, we'll go over to Binance. Now, completely different picture, right? Completely different picture. This looks a lot more bullish. Now, weekly. The weekly chart on this is diverging. Do I think it can hit its previous all-time high of $400-something? Potentially. That is not unlikely. So pull back from here to here. And the 618 is going to be 350. The 216 is going to be 500. 261 is going to be 500. You're in the overbought position. The problem with the USD charts is that the goal of the game is to get more Bitcoin. For me, at least. And, I mean, what am I seeing here? A lot of volume, a lot of momentum. Let's go to the daily. The daily's definitely diverging here. I would be wary of maybe a potential pullback. And where would that pullback be? Well, that pullback could have been right here at 227. Everything's looking positive. Everything's trending up. Your daily and your 4-hour look pretty good. Yeah, that's a pretty good back test right there. Pull back and then break out. No arguments on that. So as long as Litecoin stays above this wick down, I'll stay bullish. If it can close above here, I will think that there's a bullish continuation occurring. And the place where I start to get a little bit nervous that we may be in for a larger correction is going to be right there. It's going to be a break below the body of that previous 9. So just to take a quick look at Litecoin, I'm still bearish as hell on Litecoin long term compared to Bitcoin. Oh yeah, Binance. That'll be the last one we look at. You know what? Let's do BTC. Because we need to look at the weekly. Well, Binance just wicked out of its all-time high on news. So let's see. What is the move there? That's an insane move. That is what FOMO looks like, ladies and gentlemen. 550% in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Jesus. And it's just getting more bullish. I mean, if this candle disgustingly closes somewhere. All right, here, let's put it like this. If for some dumb reason this candle closes below the midpoint of this entire, if the body closes below the midpoint, so let's say 80, all right, let's just do 80 right there. If this candle closes below the midpoint right here and then the previous candle can't close above this candle, things are going to get a little bit dicey, and I would expect the pullback to be all the way down here for Binance. However, if we do close above this, I expect this yellow line to become the pullback. I expect right there, slightly above, to become the pullback range. And that should be followed by a break and a close. But yeah, whew. So long term, that's my Binance look. God, look how beautiful that is right there. You have a 1, you have a bullish 1, very bullish candle structure. You have a 2 trading above the 1, very bullish candle structure as well. 3 pops, 3 gets rejected by the moving averages. 4 pops, 4 gets rejected by the previous swing high. 5 pops, and you break on not on a closing basis yet, but you broke through your previous all-time high. Holy Jesus. God, I wish I'd seen that trade. I wish I'd been paying attention to Binance. That's all news driven, by the way. I mean, it's that run is so beautiful looking. Now we'll take a look at the USD chart so you guys can see how much crazier it looks. How much crazier it really looks. Yeah, you're not seeing something. This isn't like an incomplete chart. This is the complete chart. The previous all-time high was $37. And when it broke it and went to 60, I didn't think much of it. But you did have the same thing. 45. When it broke, yeah, $47. When it broke that, you had the 2 going above the 1, going above the 9. Beautiful entry. And look, you could have entered. Hindsight's always 20/20. If I'd been trading this asset, I wish I'd seen it, because God, that is some easy money. And where was the high at? $348. That is crazy. All right, guys. I think that's enough rambling for today. I hope you guys got some useful information out of this. So go enjoy your weekend, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Probably just traditional markets and maybe a really short video. I have some stuff going on. But ciao for now.